Hey friends, good morning. Sunday, June 18th?
19.
Here in New York City. And we're in Hudson Yards. It's about 10 a.m. About 62 degrees, so what is that, like 14 or 15 degrees Celsius? And we've got a nice view of the vessel here in Hudson Yards. Going to take a quick look at the vessel, walk around a little bit of Hudson Yards, and then we'll head over to the High Line, which, while we've filmed before, I don't think we've done live. Got Lisa with me.
Good morning.
How you doing, Lisa?
I'm really enjoying this cool breeze.
Yeah,
we got a break from the heat the last couple days.
Right, New York had been up to the 90s or so the last couple of days. The wind came in, so apologies in advance for any wind noise. But it's cooled the city down considerably. If you're joining us live this morning, say hi and let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching this on replay, leave a comment. Over in the distance, you can see Soul Cycle outside in that tent. Morning view of the vessel. Times I've been, you can't go up, but you can go into the middle sometimes, although I don't see the employees here at the moment. Area right in the center at the bottom level. But I think it's still closed from going up. Let's get some different views of it. And I just heard somebody say that it will be open for visiting at 11 a.m. We'll be on the High Line by then. John W.'s here. Good morning. Also have Lisa with me.
Good morning.
Helicopter in the distance. So we're here at Hudson Yards, 34th Street. Taking a quick look at the vessel. It really glimmers in the light. Next to it is the shed, which is a performance space. Over here is the Equinox Hotel, part of New York City's luxury hotel collection. Get a view of the top, give you a sense of scale and proportion. These buildings over here are gigantic. And I think we've recommended it before, but if you're ever in New York City, visit the Edge.
That's it right up there.
I'll try to get a view of it.
See the very corner.
Yeah, so the Edge is one of the many observation decks. The reason we recommend this one is come bright and early in the morning. This one does open early. And because it's fairly centrally located, you can see on a clear day so much of the city. And what's fun about this one is, you know, you go to Empire, you don't get to see the Empire. You come here, you can see the Empire State Building. So So I think it has some great building views. Really recommend the Edge,
That's
especially
my
in the morning.
favorite part is when you are up there and you see the Empire State Building, you're like eye level with the top of
Right.
it, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. So let's go take a look at Hudson Yard. So Hudson Yards, if you aren't familiar, it's one of the luxury malls here in New York City. It is not where Lisa and I do a tremendous amount of shopping, but but if that's what you're into, they've got it. And you can see some of the stores as we walk up to it, Todd's, Dior, Cartier. But I recommend taking a walk around, looking around, but the Edge is a really fun place to visit. God love is here, good point. Hey, thank you for being here and good morning. So a couple announcements as we get off to the races. We're going to head to the High Line in a moment. First, happy Father's Day. Second, happy Pride Month. And last but certainly not least, tomorrow's Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. I think all of these are moments to think about identity and to educate ourselves. And I try to spread this as much as I can on this channel, to be kind and to spread good vibes. And those are all good things to reflect on this month. Alan Brett is here. Alan has been visiting a lot of our videos and leaving really lovely comments. Thank you, Alan. And I apologize if I'm getting this wrong, but this might be the first live stream you've joined live. So thank you for being here. Alan says 16C and mostly sunny in Haverhill, Suffolk, UK, 1508. So it's just about 10 a.m. here and 14 or 15 degrees Celsius. A little cool for New York in the summer.
I'm not complaining.
But Lisa is not complaining. So let me get a rear view from Hudson Yards of the vessel.
And if you pan up on this side, you can see the Edge.
Yeah, that's a great point. So there's the Edge. Like I said, it's an observation deck.
It is the highest outdoor observation deck in the Western Hemisphere.
And it's got one of those trendy things right now, which is a clear section, so you can look down. And Lisa, who's normally not a big fan of heights, did it. So if Lisa can do it, you can do it too. It's actually a lot of fun.
Did it a couple times.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really recommend that one. The other one, there's one Vanderbilt, which we haven't done yet. There's Empire State Building, and there's One World Trade. One World Trade is particularly fun at night, just because the lights in lower Manhattan, the buildings, the water, it's really beautiful. So I would do the Edge in the morning and One World Trade at night. I will say about One World Trade, it's a very big production and it's very busy, so just be aware of that. Alan set his timer, thank you, that's fun. So we've had some, gosh, I shouldn't even say this out loud. We've had some challenges with our live stream.
Yeah, you don't jinx us.
Yeah, I know. But my cell plan rolled over yesterday, so I'm really hopeful that we have plenty of data and that I haven't, exceeded any limits or whatever. So fingers crossed that the stream will stay strong. So this is the High Line. We're on the High Line, and throughout COVID, this section that we're coming up to has been closed off. I don't know that we're going to walk it all. I have a video if you want to watch the whole High Line end to end.
I like this where you're actually on the tracks.
Isn't it beautiful? This is one of my favorites. I mean, there's been a lot of controversy in New York. I mean, New Yorkers love to complain about everything, and I count myself among the complainers. But there was a lot of controversy about the High Line. There's all this stuff around, redevelopment and how best to use these spaces and, gentrification. I mean, all fair topics, and these are complicated topics, whatever. I don't want to dismiss them. But the High Line has really turned out to be a beautiful addition to the city. And this is what it was, you know, beforehand. It was unused, and they turned it into this gorgeous, gorgeous park. And whoever thought that you'd go to the Javits Center and have anything nice to look at? No offense to the Javits Center.
We like a good park space.
Yeah, but it's an area not known for, you know, its tremendous beauty. Maggie says, knock on wood. Fist bump. Knock on wood indeed. God Love says, no wonder I never saw this section. Yeah, we'll go to we'll at least go to the end here. So it loops around. I'm going to try to point, so hold on. It loops around to about here, midway on this avenue, or on this street, on the, I think that's 35th Street if I remember. We'll just go to the corner here because we got a lot of walking we want to do today. But if you're a big train buff, this is the section you want to go to because you get to see the rail yards of Hudson Yards that give it its name. And you have, let me walk down this step, these gorgeous views of the vessel and of the Hudson. This has been closed for if you go on my channel and you look up Hudson Yards and the High Line and all this, I have a full video that includes the end-to-end of the High Line. But today we'll just get a quick glimpse of it, and then we're going to head the other direction because we got lots of walking we want to do. If you're watching for the first time, please say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. We always love to know.
This is my first time in this section.
Is it?
Because it had been closed, yeah.
And you didn't go before?
No, I had only gone
on the times.
I'd only gone in the lower parts.
Uh-huh.
Part.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And
I realized because they said it and I was like,
you know, the thing about the High Line is it's this reuse of industrial space. And
yeah,
it's
look over here with all the plants growing on the tracks and everything.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And I think when things are theoretical, like, hey, we're going to build a public park, some rail lines, you really, it's hard. I mean, it's very hard, for example, for me to visualize what this would have looked like. But it turned out incredible.
But at the same time, it was just sitting here doing nothing.
Like I said, New Yorkers, we complain about everything.
Yep.
So we'll go to the end over at this corner. And then we'll walk around. So this is 12th Avenue that we're staring at, and the waterfront. Our loose plan is we're going to walk the High Line south towards about 14th Street. We're at 34th, so about a mile. And then we're going to head over to the waterfront. It's a windy day, so there's going to be wind noise. Don't complain about the wind noise, I'm telling you now. But it's a lovely day. We're going to get some sun. We're going to see some cool sights.
Oh, you can get a good shot of the edge from here. You
Okay,
can see little spots of people up there.
So at the top of this building, this is the edge. And if you see little itty bitty dots, those are the people on the edge. It's a lot of fun. I really recommend it.
It's a good one. Yep.
All right, so we're going to walk the High Line now.
I think we've plugged the edge enough for this morning.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my kickback. Have to explain to Google, no, this was not advertising. They do not pay me. Much as I would like them to. Alan says, my feet are sore already. Live feed keeps freezing, sad face. Okay, well, we'll hope for the best. Right now, my connection is best. Live streaming in New York is always fun. A fun challenge.
Little choppy.
I can try.
Let me just.
All right, I've switched to 4G instead of 5G. We'll hope that's more stable. Oh, streaming in New York, it is fun.
Seems to be better.
Okay, I mean, it's looking to me like the connection's okay, but you know, keep us posted. And anytime there's challenges, we always can post a replay. But we'll do our best, we'll hope for the best, knock on wood, et cetera, et cetera. So the High Line, the section we're starting in is 34th Street, Hudson Yards. And then as we walk south, we'll enter the neighborhood of Chelsea. And then once we get to 14th Street, we're in the meatpacking district. So really fun neighborhoods to visit here in New York City.
Oh, there's the flower display in meatpacking. I wonder if
Yeah, is that still open?
I think so.
If it is, we'll check it out. Maybe as we walk, you can take a quick look.
Yeah. Whew.
Prince Ice is here. Says,
hello.
Hi, Sean and Lisa. Oh my God, I've been waiting for your live stream. We've missed you. Last week, we missed our customary time. We were at a wedding, upstate New York. It was beautiful. I did not bring any camera equipment purposefully, so we would have a little break. But even if I had,
oh yeah, there was no service.
it turns out, yeah, I have not, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to a part of the United States where
Zero
service. Not bad service, no service. It's very funny to imagine that places like that still exist, but they do. I mean, it was funny. Like, you couldn't even make a phone call if you wanted. Like,
Nope.
there was no, it wasn't that there was no 4G, there was nothing.
The bed and breakfast we were staying in had a landline because of that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But it was beautiful. It was this, you know, it was one of these rustic style weddings. Kind of forested. It was very beautiful. So Prince Ice, thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in live with us here today. Now Brett says, yes, it's better, go 4G, never leave us. You know, it's such a pain. We've been experimenting with the streaming setup, and we'll continue to experiment. We're going to try something on Lisa's phone on a future stream and see how that works as well. We've got lots of variables that we can play with. Not going to get into it, but we'll keep experimenting until we figure out the best solution for streaming here in New York City.
But it seems to be working now, so
Yeah, knock on wood 1,000
be
times.
happy about that.
Yeah. So we're entering, you know, what most people would say the main stretch of the High Line. Let me get, here's a map so we can show you. So this is where we are now. This is where we just were, this stretch. So this spur had been closed throughout COVID. There's a little offshoot right here, which is fun because you can kind of look at the traffic on, what is that, like 11th Avenue? Or 10th Avenue, I think. And so we're gonna walk the main stretch now. Okay, John W. says, no cell service, that's great. Tired of cell phones, gonna move there. Yeah, so upstate New York. It was beautiful, and if you're into hiking and fly fishing, we did some hiking, not big fisher people, but that's the big thing to do there, but we did some hikes.
Saw some really tiny, bright orange, they almost looked rubbery lizards. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, real wildlife. It was a lot of fun. There were bears, there were deer, horses, and we've been, stuck in the city. This is not a complaint, but we've been stuck in the city for the past couple of years, so, to see real wildlife was a lot of fun. Again, happy Pride Month to anybody who's celebrating.
Oh, Alan is asking me a great question. What breed? I love French Bulldogs.
So we own a French Bulldog candy bowl.
Oh, yeah, we have a cookie jar of a French Bulldog, which Sean seems to think is all we need.
Check these out.
But I like sort of the smaller breeds, regular Bulldogs. Some of the ones that maybe aren't the cutest, but I really love French Bulldogs.
Hello.
Oh, we're in the...
Hello. But our big news, Alan, you're asking provocative questions. On this Father's Day my big news is that this year I do become a father. So Lisa is pregnant.
I am indeed. I told Sean we had to announce pretty soon because I can't breathe very well and I can't keep up with him, so.
Yeah. But it's really exciting and thrilling news. But it put the
dog on the back burner.
Yeah. We've got another little one, a little animal. It's going to be entering our lives soon.
I am due in October, so just past the halfway mark last week, so we are moving along.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I told Sean, Sean actually said, we have a little mini bagel on the way for our channel. Mini bagel and walks.
When I have a stroller, I can get one of those clamps.
That's
and it's gonna save my arm. Hold on, this is one of my favorite things. So,
oh, that's a good shot.
If you look dead center in the frame, that's the Empire State Building. I mean, and we'll see more shots of it as we go on. But the High Line is so incredible. Yeah, so we'll have a mini bagel. And when we have the stroller, I can put a little clamp on it. And my arm won't get so tired. I mean, there's just all sorts of upside here. All right, so we have the High Line, in addition to being its own kind of work of art, piece of beauty, has all sorts of public art, and it changes from time to time. So right now I see a big apple, and I've seen this before, and we'll leave it up to you guys to decide what you think it is.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
And we have another here in the middle. But what would you say this is? Is it a rabbit?
It looks like a rabbit with multiple other animal parts. Maybe a bird body and a fish tail and some kind of...
It's a little all of the above, isn't it?
Cow legs or something. Wow.
Isn't that funny? Prince Ice says, congrats. Such great news. Yeah, thank you. Alan says, well done, the pair of you. Expecting your first bundle of joy. Stroller cam, baby views of New York. In addition, Maybe we'll get mini bagel cam. Just strap a GoPro right on there. You thought you liked my videos of Central Park. Wait till you see them at 1/4 speed. John W., God love. Alan Prince, thank you all for the lovely wishes. Here, let me pause here for a second. There's just lots to look at on the High Line. So there's all these old industrial factories and stuff. It's a lot of fun. One, I guess, tourist tip if you're going to visit is the High Line retains an incredible amount of heat. So when I give tips and it's like, do this in the morning or do this in the evening, the High Line is do this very early. If it's deep summer, it gets super hot up here.
And very busy.
And so busy,
Popular spot.
Yeah, and it's not as fun if you're just staring at the person in front of you. I mean, it can be. Yeah. When it's Lisa.
Sure. Sure, that's what you meant.
Check out some of the buildings here.
And I love all the benches and little nooks that they have where you can pop out and just take in the view. It's really nice.
Yeah, there's lots of seating areas and viewing areas. It's a lot of fun. Would you do me a favor and open up the maps and tell me what school this is? Because I walked by it a million times, and at a certain point I need to just know what school it is. So it would be on the right side. Avenues the World School. Oh, it's a private school.
Private school.
I always just thought it was like a high school or something. Because it's funny, during the middle of the day, you'll see kids having lunch like on this part. It's so cool.
Oh, it's all over. It's got multiple locations.
Student admitted to one campus is admitted to all Avenues campuses, New York, Sao Paulo, Shenzhen, and online. Oh, wow, cool. So it's some sort of global private school. Interesting. Hey, Gregory Kelly's here. Good morning. Great day for a walk. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Lisa will fill you in on what you've missed.
We just shared the news that today is Sean's first Father's Day as a daddy-to-be. We are expecting. So that's our exciting news to share with this community of
Well,
you
it's also
all.
your news. It means you're pregnant.
Well, yes, I am pregnant. I'm doing the bulk of the work at the moment, but
Yes, she is.
but today is, Father's Day, so.
So big happy Father's Day to everybody. Again, happy Pride Month, happy Juneteenth. We want to spread kindness and good vibes in the world, and right now there's plenty of that to go around. Gosh, look how green it is. We've really, the city has just looked incredible the last couple of months. So green. Gregory Kelly, God love. Thank you both.
Thank you.
It's really exciting. A little intimidating.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
telling me.
Check out this green building in the middle.
Oh, I was not looking in the right
Isn't that
direction.
beautiful? Isn't that awesome?
I was looking at
Yeah, there's some art over
art
here.
on the chimney over here.
Yeah, when you're on the High Line, you have to pause a lot and look around, which I'll be honest, not my strong suit, slowing down. But this is one of those places that really encourages you to do it because you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, lots of things to be missed if you don't take a peek around.
Babies are always a blessing, Gregory says. God loves us. Another YouTube New Yorker walker baby is so exciting.
Little
We
walker
agree.
baby.
Little mini bagel. It's just beautiful over here, isn't it?
Oh, look at this little...
They have their own little terrace.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
I mean, one of the things that's funny about a lot of these apartments, though, is you very rarely see anyone in them.
They have these great outdoor spaces, yeah.
Gregory says, baby bagel.
Baby bagel. Yep.
So this is that green building we were just looking at. I mean, it's just awesome.
I've never seen that one before.
Just gotta slow down and pay attention.
Thank you.
I'm telling myself. Yeah, mini commuter, I know well. Hopefully they'll do, I know mini commuter's been on maybe a walk or two. Hopefully they'll do more sometime. I know it's, you know, it's a logistical challenge, let's just put it that way. But I think it's always fun. Baby bagel, baby commuter. We'll have to do a meetup one day.
Yeah. Lots of little balconies and things people have on these buildings.
Right. So I would say we're about 1/3 through the High Line. I see some bagels. Now there you go. That's smart thinking.
Yep.
Bagel on the High Line. 23rd Street. Some of the beautiful Chelsea apartments. I think that apartment complex is called like the London apartments, something like that. I mean, I hope it's coming across. It is so green and beautiful up here.
Excuse me. Oof.
Got to get that mute button. So this says, a grassland awaits. You're standing in front of the newest addition to the High Line's nature-inspired gardens, a native prairie sown with 900,000 grass and perennial seeds. Come back in spring 2022 to see the seedlings as they emerge from their winter dormancy. Beautiful. 900,000, incredible. So there's the edge, top right of my frame.
Again, another plug.
Yeah. I really hope they send me a kickback.
That's a good
At
shot.
least lots of free admission, you know? If you're watching, we do accept bribes and endorsement deals. Speaking of bribes, yesterday was the Mermaid Parade in Coney Island. We were having a restful day, so we watched online, but it was like the 44th?
40th.
40th?
Yep.
Wiki Lisa. 40th Mermaid Parade. So if you're not familiar with the Mermaid Parade, it's a Coney Island tradition, and it kicks off summer season at Coney Island. And the funny thing is, so there's parade, anybody can join, it's really easy. It's very, I would say, adult-oriented.
Yes, the costumes
It's
are
very funny.
creative.
But
More art.
the judges, such as they are these Coney Island institutions, and the idea is they are both intoxicated and highly open to bribery. So if you want to win, I don't even know what you win, but if you want to win the Mermaid Parade, bribe those judges. They are more than happy to accept them. I think we're on 10th Avenue.
It's 10th Avenue to our left, yep.
And we just passed 23rd Street, so this would be 22nd and 10th Avenue. Pause here for a second. Shirt reads, "I'm not interested in competing with anyone. I hope we can all make it." I like that message. Beautiful. Really beautiful. Gregory, I hope we can agree this is art. Oh, and this is timely, because tomorrow is Juneteenth, so all Americans can easily name July 4 as the country's recognized Independence Day. However, that promise that, quote, all men are created equal was unfulfilled for enslaved Black Americans for almost 90 years after the Declaration of Independence was inked. Even the Emancipation Proclamation and the end of the Civil War didn't immediately end slavery. Juneteenth commemorates the day, June 19, 1865, when 250,000 enslaved people were finally freed in Texas, nearly 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. The occasion of Juneteenth is also a striking reminder that justice has too often been delayed for Black Americans and other people of color. Today, racial inequity still permeates our country, systems, and institutions, including the disproportionate impacts of the pandemic, rates of experiences of police brutality, unequal treatment in businesses and public spaces, and disparities in mass incarceration. Progress is hard fought, and there's still so much work to do. About Outdoor Afro, nonprofit that celebrates and inspires Black connections and leadership in nature. Oh, this is so cool. Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Texas, so very familiar with Juneteenth holiday from that perspective. And it's an interesting history. It was basically the far-flung reaches of the Texas heartland. It took a long time for the news, but also the enforcement to reach every end of Texas. And I, at least on a personal level, very happy it's now a federal holiday. I'm a big lover of history, if you are familiar with the channel, and love to learn and educate myself. It's an important education. And, hopefully we can all think about the different things that we can do to build each other up and not tear each other down. So very cool to see that mural and get to. So happy Juneteenth to everybody. I was reading about it recently, and the 3 words were celebrate, educate, and agitate, which is a fun one. Gregory Kelly says, "I'm ashamed to say that I only learned about Juneteenth a few years ago." No, I don't think you're alone,
No.
and that's totally,
Yep.
That's not your fault. We're all learning, and I think striving to do the best that we can to make a world that is really welcoming and supportive to everybody, because we all benefit from that. I really believe that. Here's another piece of public art. You are beautiful. See, that one's dedicated to Lisa. Bet you didn't know that. Wonderland Beauty Parlor, it says.
That's all right. I like that kind of advertising. It's nice.
Uplifting.
Yeah.
And then, this is kind of cool. You can see this is very emblematic of the Highline area. So you have this factory, and then over top this, modernist structure. And that kind of tells the story of this area, this historical legacy, and really cool industrial architecture, and then kind of this more modern on top, right on top of it. But I like that they've retained a lot of the original look, you know, and if that's the way you have to do it, I'm, you know, fine by me. Here's another one of these. This is one of the midpoint entrances, so there's stairs here you can get up or get off of the High Line, but you also get views of the streets.
It's a good view of that older. Is that a hotel? I always forget.
Yeah, we did an event there years ago. I don't know if you remember that, a work event long
I
time
don't think
ago.
I went. And there's a good view of the Empire State Building again.
Yep. Yeah, it's a hotel now. Do you want to pull up the map? We can give the name. Just blank. Cause it's the one that has that London bus in front of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You've seen it.
Is it the High Line Hotel? Yep.
I guess so. Okay, the High Line Hotel. That should be pretty
Easy
easy
enough.
to remember that one. Has that London bus in front of it, but that beautiful architecture. It's really gorgeous, isn't it? Some cool buildings. I mean, every way we look, there's something to see here. Prince Ice, how you say it's hot in Korea? What are we talking about?
Ooh, and humid. That's the worst.
What is your definition of hot? Gregory Kelly says New York City seems to embody the spirit of Juneteenth with all the ethnic parades and festivals. The city really celebrates the diversity of its population. Yeah, and this has been so true recently. You know, most recently the Philippine Independence Day Parade.
That was a fun one.
That was really fun. And we missed the Puerto Rican parade, which I'm sure was an absolute blast. I bet that was so much fun.
I think it was the same day as something else. Maybe that one or...
There's been a lot recently. I mean, that day there was the Greek
Yep.
parade that we missed. There's been a ton. And then yesterday, Mermaid Parade, which is a lot about self-expression. And later this month will be obviously the New York City Pride Parade, which is going to be gigantic, I'm sure. And I think a big thing with all of the parades that's been in common is, you know, after 2 years, many of the parades were on hiatus. People have been
Yes.
itching to celebrate, so they're
We're,
all...
we're planning to do a stream from the Pride Parade. We'll see how
Yeah, that one might be tough to...
connection works, but
I think it's going to be raucous, and I love it.
yep.
Prince Ice says, I really love today's course somewhere that I know exactly. Yeah, we were debating yesterday where to go, and I looked up no parades today as far as I could tell. There was a bike race in Harlem that did sound interesting, but I think we wanted to walk more than to
Yeah.
be stationary.
It's a good view of the street. Just
And while I've recorded videos from here, we've never done a live video here. So I think this is 18th Street.
Yeah, that's the Mother Teresa and Gandhi mural, I think, right?
Yeah, so when we get a little further down, I'll get you a better view of the mural. And we'll be right there in a second, which is a big kind of observation area. People kind of watch the traffic along 10th Avenue. New York's famous scaffolding. Can't escape it. Wow, it's amazing how much better the 4G is than the 5G. That's impressive.
Don't jinx us, please.
I'm trying not to. Guess I'm not trying very hard. All right, we're gonna pause here so we can see the murals. So we have Gandhi and Mother Teresa. And then above, a quote in Arabic, which reads, "This book belongs to its owner, Fatal Assad. He bought it with his own money at the beginning of March 1892. Let's have some views of the architecture down here. Pretty interesting architecture. I think some people call this like the beer barrel building, something like that.
That looks
Which
right.
you can sort of see, right?
Yep.
And if you need a food recommendation, this is Artichoke Basil's Pizza, which is pretty good. They're very, if I remember correctly, fairly expensive slices, but they're huge and very tasty. So if you're around this area, that's one food recommendation, but the other, of course, is Chelsea Market, which we'll be at in a moment, which has lots of great food vendors. It's probably overpriced for what it is, but that's kind of the story of New York City. So it is what it is. And to the west of us, that's Chelsea Piers.
I was just going to say, sometimes when we're, I don't know, shopping for something or just looking at different things and you get so surprised by the costs, I get so confused because
Bag of bagels.
I say, you know we live in Manhattan, right? It's like Sean forgets sometimes.
I mean, sometimes it's absurd, though.
It's always
When
absurd.
a box of
but
cereal costs $8, I think I'm allowed to complain about
it's always absurd, but this is where we live. Oh, this piece of art coming up is one of my favorites. It's so
whimsical.
Yeah.
So it's Statue of Liberty with a funny face. And as far as I know, the face changes every few weeks. So we'll get a closer look of it in a second. We're gonna see this part. Excuse me. Prince Ice says, New York City and Korea share many things in common. It does seem that way, doesn't it? A quick look at what the people were looking at. There's Artichoke Basil's Pizza. And a lot of people, if they've walked the High Line, it's about a mile long, but if you want to take a rest while you're up here, some people sit here and you can just kind of watch the traffic go by. The guys behind Artichoke Basil's Pizza are also the people who did Lions, Tigers, and Squares, which is
Detroit
style pizza.
Which we love.
We do love. I have family in Detroit. If you're not familiar with Detroit style pizza, Google Buddy's, BUDDY''S pizza.
My favorite.
To get a picture of it.
Then you go down the stairs.
The story behind it is it was supposedly built, cooked in these sort of square pans that, the legend is had to do with the auto industry. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's really good.
Whenever we go visit Sean's grandmother, make sure we get our Buddy's pizza.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah. So if you can't make it all the way to the real Statue of Liberty,
is this a substitute?
This is a close second.
Not sure about that. I know in Florence, we saw the real David, and they have that replica outside, which actually does look like.
So that sign says Paula PV, You Know Who I Am 2022. And then it does have some information about the current mass. So it is right that the mass kind of changes from time to time. Very funny. Okay, so now we're above Chelsea Market.
Ooh, what's this? A little fair?
Yeah, they've had vendors here. You did not watch my last video, I take it.
Excuse me. Some of us have a day job.
They've had lots of vendors here, and there's been some food, and then down there to the right has been another food, like a restaurant or something. So they've added a ton up here to make it a real destination, not just a park, but
Oh wow, yeah, I see a restaurant there with
isn't that
tables.
cool?
That's nice.
It's super nice. And check out this view of Little Island. I mean, just look how green everything is. Isn't this spectacular? So this is the restaurant I was talking about. Well, as we turn the corner, let's see what it is. Hearth, NYC. Food, beer, and wine. That does not sound half bad. You've got these picnic benches. But check out the High Line. Doesn't that, the Little Island, doesn't that look incredible? So green.
Yeah, this is a neat view. Different vantage point than what you usually see. Oh, here's one of your things that you love.
Yeah, I love a sky bridge. So this is Chelsea Market. Great spot for food and shopping.
You didn't highlight your, what do you call that?
I did.
What's it called?
Like a sky bridge.
Sky bridge, yeah.
I'm sure there's a real name for it, but. And I don't think we're going to go up today, but if you do check my last, if you go into my uploads and look up my last Highline video, we did go here. So this is Pier 57. So Google is using this building. And I've probably talked about this before, but what is in vogue in New York City is private public partnerships. And so Google's using that building, and as part of whatever agreement that they made, they built a public rooftop. Anybody can go. I think it's like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Maybe it's even earlier. It's not very well known yet, so it's almost empty. And it's
great,
stunning.
Great views.
It's
great
stunning.
views of Lower Manhattan.
It's stunning. Yeah, it's beautiful. And you have it to yourself. So check out my last video. It'll show you how to get in there. It's very easy. You just have to follow the signs. And you just get these spectacular views. And I see one person running up there. I mean, it's empty. So you heard it here first. Enjoy it while you can before the masses discover it. It's really fun. Gregory Kelly says, like the Bridge of Sighs at Venice. Oh, Venice. We have to make it back there one day. We've gone once. Another beautiful place to visit. Right, this is 14th Street in the meatpacking district. So you see the really characteristic older buildings of the meatpacking area. And you also see the cobblestone street. It's really beautiful down here. And like I said before, all of this was super controversial, but, obviously there's issues with prices and gentrification. I don't want to dismiss that, but I do think this was a really great addition to New York City. Big believer in public spaces, and when you can make them this beautiful and retain the kind of character of the area, I think that's a win-win. This is the Standard Hotel. Always have to be careful filming it because it is known for its big windows. And sometimes
you see things.
Sometimes you see things. And the funny thing about the Standard Hotel is those people in it know you can see them. That tells you anything.
So
More
there's
of Little Island.
interesting history about this pier also, right? Isn't this where
Yeah, this is where the Titanic was supposed
to
dock.
There's a plaque down there.
Yeah, so that metal structure is registered, and they can't, it's a historic, whatever you call it.
Landmark.
Yeah. It's where the Titanic was supposed to dock, and there's lots of plaques and things over there describing that. The next thing we'll see once we get past the Standard Hotel is the Whitney Museum, one of Lisa's favorite. We are members of a few museums through Lisa's employment, and Whitney is one of them. It's American art.
Yeah, I really love that museum.
American and modern art, I should say, like contemporary.
Yep.
So what's on display changes frequently.
But they do have their
they have a core collection, obviously.
Core collection, that's really nice.
But they have
too.
great exhibits, and as we get closer, there's so much scaffolding, it's so stupid, but as we get closer, there's all sorts of outdoor space and terraces. So it's a fun place to visit. You see the art, but you can also go outdoors and get incredible views. But as we get there, this is a new addition to the Highline, and then in my video I saw them actually turn it on. Check this out. Alan Brett says, stunning greenery, beautiful views. Isn't it incredible? I try very, very hard not to allow myself to, stop appreciating this stuff.
The water's coming out of their eyes.
Yeah, it's coming out of...
Are they supposed to be crying?
There was a sign somewhere. Let me see if we can find it. Why don't we'll go around for a second, see if we can find it. Excuse me. Let me see if we can find a sign describing the fountain. I thought I saw a sign. Maybe I'm mistaken. Well, we'll try to do some research for you guys and see if we can find out more information about it. It's really beautiful, though. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but there was one statue of Lisa in there.
No. But there was a pregnant statue.
I'm pretty sure it was dedicated to you.
So they all got transferred to New York, hadn't seen each other till the No Plans thing. They planned to get together. They participated.
Gregory Kelly says, love the Whitney Museum. When it moved downtown, it really helped to revitalize the area. Yeah, this whole area is really a destination now. Lots to do, lots to eat. I totally get the criticism because a lot of it is very upscale, especially like the restaurants. I don't want to dismiss that, but it is, if you come and do the Highline, totally free. Little Island is free. Pier 57 rooftop free. So if you plan carefully, you can do a lot and not break the bank in the process. So here's the Whitney, and it's the biennial. So we were even thinking we might do that today. So if we do, we'll report back and let you know what we thought of it.
But I also have to remind Sean that I am pregnant, and our walks often wear me out, so it's hard to then do something afterwards,
Right,
but
so
we'll see.
TBD. First we walk,
Then we eat,
and then we'll decide.
and then we see how we feel. And by we, I mean me. Me and Mini Bagel, Baby Bagel.
Yes, Lisa always likes to tell me what the baby has decided.
Yes.
do some art purchasing here. Or some hat purchasing. Lots of options. So you know what? Since we're not going to Little Island today, instead of turning here, why don't we go straight a little? We'll walk through a little bit of meatpacking.
Did you want to look for those flowers? I think they're back, though. We might have to.
I think we're gonna do that another time.
Okay.
Just because it kind of pulls us off course.
From what I just looked up, it said June, so
I heard
I'm
it was very
assuming-
short-lived. And I don't see a lot of, I mean, I'll check it out later, but I don't see a lot of.
I couldn't find dates. It just said June 2022.
I remember hearing, though, that it was very short-lived, so I don't think we're going to miss. So what we're talking about is there was supposed to be a flower exhibition here, what is it, like Little 12th Street or something. But why don't we walk this way? There's some beautiful apartments. So we're kind of leaving meatpacking and entering the West Village. There's some beautiful buildings, and then what we're going to do is walk over to the waterfront. We've walked the waterfront north of here, kind of to the Intrepid, which, to place ourselves geographically, we've walked, call it from the 80s in the Upper West Side to Intrepid, which is about 42nd Street-ish. We're at about 14th Street, so we're much further south, and we'll see very different sights. So we'll see a little bit of the West Village here, and then we'll pop over to the waterfront, where there will be lots to see. And we're going to head south towards Battery Park City, the Battery, which has views of Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. So there's just beautiful apartments, cobblestone streets. This is really kind of reflective of the West Village.
It's one of your favorite neighborhoods, isn't it?
Absolutely. If one had unlimited money.
This is where you'd be.
Gregory says, compared to what Chelsea's meatpacking district used to be like in the 70s, 80s, the change is amazing. The city is alive and always growing and changing. Yeah. The challenge is how you get the right balance, because you want the historic architecture and, certain neighborhoods, what makes them special is also the people, and you don't, I totally get the challenge of not pricing people out. I was just making a joke right then of like how expensive the West Village is. You want it, what makes the West Village special is in part the artists and the communities that have made this neighborhood special. So it's a challenge. It's always a challenge. Brett says, enjoy watching your videos, especially when you stop at statue plaques, show what is written on them. A lot of what you film is interesting. Well, thank you very much. My big personal challenge is I'm a fast walker, and kind of how this started was I take very long walks, and I just started to bring a camera along. But I am trying my level best to slow down a little bit.
Isn't that one of the restaurants we enjoy?
Yeah, we haven't been in a little bit. There's, what are the two names? Yeah, there's Malatesta and Malaparte. I think this is Malatesta, if I remember correctly. So there are these Italian restaurants here in the village, and they're on the same street, like 8 blocks apart, something like that. They're some of the most affordable Italian food in New York City. Highly, highly recommend it. Patrick NY says, hey, Bagels and Walks. Hello, everyone. Hello, Patrick. Thank you for being here. We're here right now in the West Village. And in a little bit, we're going to walk over to the waterfront. But at the moment, we're just kind of checking out some of the amazing historic architecture down here. Gregory Kelly says, used to live on Charles Street near Bleecker. I mean, that's such a great area. I was at NYU, so have been down in these parts on and off. And obviously, we come down here a lot to visit or to eat. It's really beautiful down here. I mean, check out these townhouses and apartment buildings. We have part of the new schools down here. Just amazing. John W. says, you have the fast-paced NY walk. New Yorkers are constantly on the go. Yeah, I think, so I've been here for 18 years, I think is what I came up with. And at some point, I mean, I've always been a fast walker, but I think at some point I timed my walking to the lights. And it's like very specific so that I don't hit the stop signs that often. But Lisa and Mini Bagel,
We can't keep up.
we can't keep up, so I'm doing my best. We are changing for the better.
And when he forgets, I just call out pregnancy pace.
Patrick says, beautiful area. Yeah, it's so beautiful down here. I mean, like I said, if I had unlimited capital, you could do a whole lot worse than, having a townhouse down here or something amazing like that. One day, maybe the lottery. Alan says, Gregory Kelly, London is the same. I don't recognize King's Cross Station. They have spent billions on redevelopment around that area. Yeah, cities are changing a lot. Hopefully they're retaining, enough of the character that makes them interesting. But, better transportation, accessibility. I mean, there's all sorts of benefits, obviously, from improving cities, and just hopefully they're capturing the right balance. So Gregory mentioned living on Charles Street, but closer to Bleecker. We're coming up on Charles Street now. He says, I don't think I could now afford to live in the apartment. Yeah, no, I mean, and look at apartment prices. It's stupid. That's all I could say. So this is Charles Lane. I always like to pause here. It's just a tiny little street, cobblestone. It's beautiful. And across the street is this amazing house, freestanding. I mean, you just don't see stuff like this all the time.
With a driveway.
Yeah. Gregory also says Lisa's walking for two now. She sure is. So it does indeed seem like the least I can do is try to walk at her pace.
Yes, please.
It is a work in progress. So we haven't been here yet, but there's that Middle Eastern place we keep talking about, which has this amazing outdoor setup, really covered
pretty.
covered in flowers and all sorts of decoration. Okay, so if I've learned anything from this stream, one is we're going to stay on 4G, not 5G. And two, I think it must be that later in the month I've used up too much of my data and I'm getting deprioritized. Especially when we go to busy events. Mm-hmm. So
Those are really problematic.
yeah, so we're learning as we go. And like I said earlier, we're going to experiment with Lisa's device sometimes as well and see if that it expands our options. But pretty good so far today. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, etc., etc. So we're gonna make a right up ahead. We walked by Malatesta. This is at the corner on the left, Malaparte, which, like I said, is the sister restaurants. These are a couple Italian restaurants owned by Italians and by New York City standards for the quality of the food. Really, really, really good food and a good value.
We should point out that the portions
are more normal.
Are, yes, not American size portions, but
yeah, it's more European style, which is
what you should
normal,
be eating.
But it's what you should be eating for sure.
Yeah, this one's Malatesta.
So then the other one is Malaparte.
Yes.
I probably had it backwards. It's so good though. So good.
They're getting their tables set up.
Yeah, and look at the little sign. Really lovely. Alan Brett says, Lisa, you can always put Sean on a lead, so when he forgets himself, you can pull him back. That's the...
Not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. Oh, this is funny, although it probably disrupts our walking plan.
Oh, and there's a yard sale. Look behind you.
I saw, yeah.
Don't see that very often. Sidewalk sale.
I love that.
Oh, is it benefiting Ukraine?
The
Oh, it's
$2
benefiting
table,
Ukraine.
The $5 table, the $20 table.
That's very nice.
All right, so a little bit of a detour, but it looks like we can walk on this side of the street. So it says Folsom East Street. Interesting. Mick Jones is here. How are you today? Mick, thank you for being here. It's a beautiful Sunday here in New York City. It's very cool. Probably 60, it's only going up to 70 today, but it's in the low 60s right now.
I was just telling Sean yesterday. It's
I'm
funny
gonna go
how.
on mute until we get to the corner, just because there's some music playing.
Okay.
So just bear with us a minute.
I guess he's muting me.
Yeah, we'll get the mic back on in a minute. Just give me a second. All right, thank you for bearing with me. So we're crossing the street. There was just a bunch of music, and YouTube's copyright stuff is so obnoxious. So we're crossing the West Side Highway now. We're walking to the waterfront. Lisa's gonna do a bathroom break. So we'll hang out for a minute while we wait for her, and then we'll head over to the pier and get some water views. Lottie's here. Good morning. Found you through Walks in Wall Street. Yeah, another one of my favorites. Tom is awesome. And I've learned over time that we share a lot in common. So hopefully one day we'll get a chance to do a meetup or something. Alan Brett says, when are you going to add a thanks button to support your channel and now family? I think there is one, but I guess what I've read on YouTube is because it's a new feature, it's possible that it's still rolling out. I've gotten one before, so I do know it works, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that everybody necessarily has access to it yet. And maybe because you're in the UK, maybe that's the factor at play here. But thank you. Leaving a like, subscribing is the easiest and best way to help, just support and grow the channel. And anything beyond that is not expected, but of course is appreciated. Patrick says, wow, you do walk fast. Trying my best to learn to slow down. Gregory says, Prince Ice, you'll know New York City so well when you finally visit. Yeah, hopefully Prince Ice, you'll make it as the world reopens, fingers crossed for you. And Gregory's right. Hopefully you'll have a sense of all the things that you want to do and see. Isn't this beautiful? We haven't been down here in a little bit, just, we're changing some of the things that we do, just because Lisa's not able to walk. Like sometimes we would walk here miles and miles and miles. We can't do that right now, obviously, so we haven't been here in a little bit, but this is one of my favorite spots. And what we would do is we might meet here on the waterfront and sit on these piers for a while and just get beautiful views. Lottie says, looks like a beautiful day, how's the weather? It's like 62 degrees. There's a nice breeze. The sun is out, so it's, it doesn't feel cold. It just feels lovely. So Lisa and I would come down to these piers and hang out for a while. And then we would go over to like Malatesta or Malaparte, which are those Italian restaurants we just walked by. We'd get a, carafe of wine and we'd have just a really amazing time. This is really one of my favorite areas. And look at these views. So that's One World Trade. Some of the older piers. And then in this direction, you have Little Island, the brand new Pier 57 rooftop. You have Chelsea Piers, which we've walked by before. There's so much to do down here. And you guys know, I always try to talk about more affordable things or free things. All these piers and the waterfront's totally free. You can obviously do stuff, like here, for example, is a bar. But if you just want to come out here and just enjoy the piers, the waterfront, it's all free. So I see Lisa. Let me get the mic back on for her. Here you go. Let us know.
Back on?
Yep.
Okay.
So Lottie is in Orlando, Florida. Real feel temp, 104 degrees.
Oof,
Are you kidding
no,
me?
thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no thanks. It will get, there will be days here like that, and I think we joked about it on the last stream, but the subway stations collect heat from the trains and they're not air conditioned. And so it might be 90 degrees outside and feel like in the subway 110 degrees. Miserable.
I thought we were walking south. Did we change?
will.
Okay.
But let's go see the plants and the statue right here.
Okay.
And then we'll walk south. I don't know who's responsible for everything. Maybe it's the Parks Department. I think on the river, sometimes there's like a Hudson River organization and so forth. The flowers and plants in New York City over the last year have been spectacular. Like they've so upped their game in terms of how much they've planted and variety and quality. Like, this is gorgeous.
Gonna walk through the path?
Yeah, 100%. Isn't this incredible? Alan says, I do walk fast, trying to catch up. Prince Ice says, that's meltdown level. Yeah, 100%. That's way too hot. Lottie, stay cool, stay healthy. Isn't this beautiful? Let's see if we can see our sign here. So this is Stephen Weiss, Apple, from 2000-2001, dedicated by the artist to the city of New York and to the neighbors and neighborhood of the far west village that filled his heart. Amazing. Just beautiful. And it's surrounded by all these flowers.
So he must have finished that just before he died.
Yeah, it said 1938 to 2001, and the art was 2000-2001. Well, what an amazing gift to the city.
This is a great view.
Yeah, this is part of why if I, could live in a different neighborhood, the West Village would be it, and part of it is just coming here. Lottie says, don't worry, it's hibernation series here for Florida locals.
Sounds right.
Sounds about right, yeah. All right, so kids, time to go. We're heading south. Time to walk. Gregory Kelly says, lots of hidden treasures like this park. Lottie says these views are spectacular. Yeah, so once we get past the pier up ahead, we're gonna get a different variety of view. So bear with us, it'll take some minutes to get there. And our plan is just to walk as far south as we can. So it's up to Lisa.
And Mini Bagel.
Yep, so for those of you who are just joining, breaking news alert. Lisa's pregnant. Happy Father's Day. So we're gonna walk south, but we'll walk as long as she's comfortable. And that's the plan. But as we get past this set of piers, we'll see Battery City, and obviously we can see One World Trade. And just as we get closer and closer, as it kind of fills the frame, it's really spectacular. Especially on a day like this, because it's so reflective and you see the blue. Just beautiful. Thank you, Prince Ice. And Alan Brett says, I agree with Gregory Kelly, New York, beautiful city. Yeah. I mean, this is really why I do this, is just, it is a beautiful city. I love it. Full of history, beautiful people. So much to see, and hopefully that's coming across in the videos. And the reason we like doing the live streams is there's so many folks like you who appreciate it as well. And it's fun to share and have this little community of ours.
And connect all over the world, all over the country.
Oh, it's so much fun, right?
We love it.
We love it. So it's still early in New York, and what you have to understand about New York on the weekend is everybody's hungover, so it's a little early, but as the day moves along, these greens that we're walking next to are gonna fill with people, especially as it gets warmer. And you'll come here in the afternoon and there will just be hundreds of people on picnic blankets and kids and families.
Sunbathers.
The dogs, sunbathers, everything. It's so fun. But people are still asleep right now. They haven't had their morning mimosa yet, or bloody. But once they do, this is gonna be a good day too, because the breeze is so nice.
Oh, you just reminded me, Bloody Mary, that's on my list too.
Lisa and I had a long conversation last night about martinis.
All the things that are on my list that I can have again. once Mini Bagel arrives.
Lottie asked, are you on IG or TikTok? Not really right now. I've thought about it, but honestly, I'm just focused on this. So we'll see over time, but for now, this is the best place. Part of what what I do is these long form videos, and I appreciate as a consumer of content, Instagram and TikTok, but it's not what I'm trying to deliver. And so I've tried some stuff in the past, but it's such a mismatch from what most of my content is, which are these long walks.
I mean, my suggestion was to use those other platforms as a way to drive traffic to this platform, but...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the traffic it delivers are people who seem to expect something different. So it doesn't, if that makes sense. So I just stay focused on this for now. I mean, but like I said, never say never. We'll see. Patrick says I'm still half asleep. That's New York for you. Saturday really wears people out sometimes. I don't blame them. Alan Brett says invest in trainers and shoes with built-in brakes, and you have cracked it. Slow down a bit. Well, Lisa hasn't pulled my arm too much today, so I think we're doing okay right now. Yesterday, I got up at 8.
I try to sleep in on Saturdays.
And Lisa sort
And
of
then I
came out
napped.
around 10, but then kind of went back until like noon.
As I keep reminding him, it's exhausting making
Yeah.
a human.
Yeah, so John W., for Lisa, the issue is more,
I get up all
she
the
gets
time.
up like every hour.
So
and
even
so-
if I stay in until 10, I've maybe gotten 6 hours
Yeah,
of sleep.
she hasn't slept all that much despite the amount of time invested in the
Yes.
process. But I definitely remember, like when I was at NYU, folks would crawl out of bed at like 2 in the afternoon, and you'd be like, "Hey, morning." Prince Ice says, seems when you guys are waking up, getting to sleep. Yeah, I know that's the challenge with these streams and wanting to engage globally. So we've been trying stuff at different times. So while I have a captive audience,
Oh boy.
I encourage you guys, check out my, I have a video that YouTube, it got all the wrong signals, and so I don't think YouTube has tried very hard to do anything with it. And it's my Philharmonic video. So I think what went wrong is, what I do with the channel is just share what I've experienced. So I was sitting on the lawn in Central Park, very far from the stage, but that's where me and 5,000 other people were sitting. Saw the back end of a concert, and then the fireworks show. You can watch the concert if you want. It was good music, but I'm so far from the stage, so you don't really see the
So
musicians.
mostly what you hear are the children around.
Yeah, and they're all tired, and they just want the fireworks show.
Yeah.
But I added chapters, and so you can click on the fireworks chapter. Go check out that Central Park Philharmonic video. Go to the fireworks. And I did that one on the iPhone, so it has HDR, which means if you watch it on like a newer iPhone or a Mac or a fancy new TV, the fireworks really pop, like the brightness really pops. So check that one out. Skip the first 15 minutes if you want. I will not be offended at all. But check out those fireworks. Beautiful. I mean, it was really beautiful. Patrick says, what a great channel. I'm glad I found you. I think from Fernando's channel. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, there's so many great... Everybody, what's fun. Oh, that looks like we'll have to... There's something on the building, but we're at a bad angle, so we'll... Obviously, I can see it says thank you, but I don't know what they're thanking yet. So when we get up ahead, we'll turn around and see what it says. Yeah, there's so many great YouTubers in New York City, and what's fun is every one of them has such a unique identity and voice. I mean, so Tom, who Lottie mentioned, talks about Wall Street. Like, who would have thought? And yet it brings in people every single night. I love it. And Fernando just like feels the energy of the city. There's so much. I mean, I love it. Lottie says I'll be binging your channel in a bit. Working from home has its perks. Yeah. So I would say, 90% of my content, so there's no talking. But what's cool about
nice
that,
background noise when you're working.
yeah, when you're working, it's like ASMR. If you just want to hear New York City, I know a lot of people use it just to listen.
I sent Sean's, one of his more recent videos when he went to the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens to one of my coworkers.
All right, so it says, I
And-
want to thank you.
There are lots of birds chirping and all that sort of stuff, and we had jumped on a video call together, and she was hearing the birds, and she said, "Do you have a bird?" And then she realized it was the video on her computer in the background.
Oh, that's so funny. Alan says you're freezing up again. Sorry, Alan. On my end, I
Looks
don't
okay.
see it, but maybe hit refresh on your end just in case. If not, hopefully it'll come back. It's looking, my connection looks okay on this end. Patrick says, so nice to see New York streamers supporting each other. I mean, I think if you listen to me enough, you'll know my attitude in life, in politics, in YouTube walking, is that we should build each other up. I tend not to view things as zero sum. I don't think their success means I can't have success. I don't think my success means anybody else can't have
Or
success.
more for someone means less for someone else.
The world is too big for that to be the case.
Yep.
So I love what they do. I hope in some way I provide something unique that you guys enjoy, and obviously I welcome your feedback. And if you want to see something in particular, let me know.
He welcomes your feedback, not so much mine. Or
Well, I
should
welcome your
say,
feedback
He
too.
welcomes it. He just doesn't.
I don't
often
always
take.
act on it. And my saying I welcome feedback doesn't mean I'm going to take it.
Fair point.
It just means I welcome it.
Oops, and he's tripping.
And I'm
You
tripping.
okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Love the gimbal. You can hardly tell.
Thanks
Lottie
for
says
joining
got it.
us, Lottie.
Yeah, Lottie, thank you for being here. I'm glad you found the channel. Hopefully there's a bunch for you to enjoy. And we do these on Sundays generally, so hopefully we'll see you next Sunday as well.
Yes, and stay cool.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, stay cool. Gregory says, I discovered these walking videos during quarantine and find them very relaxing and calming. Yeah, so I started them during quarantine. It was in part getting better shape, and I thought it would be interesting to, just film the things that I have access to and can see, because not everybody has Central Park, for example, as their personal lawn. And my first big project was walk every street in Manhattan, and it was kind of interesting to do it because it was still, in retrospect, very few people were outside. So it was kind of an interesting moment to capture the city. And like I said, big lover of the city and history and all this stuff. So it was cool to see literally every street in Manhattan, at least. I can't say that the quality of those videos is very good because that was like secondary to just accomplishing it. But it was a fun quarantine, project.
And we think Sean might be the first person to do that and document the entire thing.
Yeah, a handful of people have walked every street in Manhattan. Some have taken some pictures, but I don't think anybody ever recorded
Filmed
the whole
the
thing.
entire thing. Yep.
Patrick says, well said, thank you. You know, we got to build each other up. And like I said, it's Pride Month, it's Juneteenth tomorrow, it's Father's Day.
Juneteenth today, but the holiday's observed
Oh, that's
tomorrow.
right. Yeah, no, you're right. That's why I keep getting the date mixed up in my head. You know, let's build each other up. There's enough struggle and difficulty in the world that we don't need to personally add to that. Prince Ice says, I kind of like it when the video has more sound. It feels much more realistic, especially in the crowded streets. Yeah, so I using a new camera, not for the streams, but for the recorded videos. So I'm using a GoPro now. And I would say, candidly, I'm still dialing in some of the video settings on it. But there's two reasons I've switched to it. One is it works in the summer. And there were a lot of people have said it has overheating issues, but I actually find it has, for my walking, which are these really long, uninterrupted walks, it's actually working better for me than the DJI Pocket. But more importantly, even than that, because I can always stop and reach, you know, whatever, is the audio I think is a lot better. Because to get the audio great on the Pocket, I had to add all these accessories, and it was just, I looked like a clown, and it was becoming a lot to like set up and all this stuff. So I think the GoPro's the way to go for now. I think the sound is way better, and like I said, I think a lot of people who watch the channel actually listen to the channel. So I'm still tweaking the video settings to get it right, but I think the audio is way, way, way better. Donna Stedham's here. I've decided to fire my notification bell. It is nice, cooler 79 here in Weaver, Alabama. So first of all, Donna, thank you. Donna is one of our great, great, great channel supporters.
So you'll have to share the news with Donna.
Yeah, so Donna, it's my first Father's Day to be. Lisa is pregnant, we are announcing, and due in October. So everything that you know about my walking speed and et cetera, I have literally no excuses anymore. I have to get in shape and behave.
Meaning slow down and walk with your pregnant wife.
But thank you, Donna, for being here. The notifications bell, I think YouTube, I don't know what their story is. You're not the only person, and I don't mean about my little channel. I think in general their notification system is garbage, and you know, just know we endeavor to do things live on Sundays, and I try to post every morning about an hour from New York City, and you can tune in, tune out whenever you want. I take no offense, but I'm really glad you guys are here. Alan Brett says, you have a lot of supporters with you today. All YouTubers who do travel should be one big family and support one another. Totally agree. We lift each other up is my attitude. So as we come further south, I promise some good views. So here's more of the piers. There's, I think isn't this part of City Winery?
That, maybe.
I think it is. So, you know, there's places to drink, there's places to eat. Obviously right now there's activities, so we have some kayaking here. I've been sailing in this water before, and I gotta tell you, the constant thought of, I don't want this water in my mouth does detract a little bit from the experience, I would say.
You just wear a mask out there now, you'll be okay.
Gregory asked, do you know if the baby is a boy or a girl? It's a boy.
It's a boy.
And as of yesterday, the size of a banana. I don't know if you're familiar with these apps that kind of help track things and give you tips and stuff, but every week it's a fruit or a vegetable, and this week it's a banana. On the way to full mini bagel status. City Vineyard. Okay, so City Vineyard is a restaurant and wine garden by City Winery, so it is like a smaller output. So if you're not familiar with City Winery, there's a few locations. They're kind of event spaces, but also restaurant, obviously wine. Really fun. So this is City Vineyard, like a little smaller one down here. Oh, it's free kayaking. That's cool.
Wow.
Always free. That's awesome. Well, let me just, so you can screenshot this if you want the information. That's awesome. That's cool. So screenshot that if you want that information. You can tell I always love to highlight free things in the city so that everybody knows that there's something that they can participate in no matter what. This is City Vineyard. They have both indoor and outdoor space, so whatever you're comfortable with. And a nice sign for Pride Month that says, "Love always wins," which is a message we subscribe to. Happy Pride Month. It's going to be a lot of pride in every YouTuber's channel over the month as flags and activities happen throughout the city. So hope you find ways to participate in that. Big New York City traditions. Donna says, that's great news. Congratulations. That walking speed will probably slow down a little. It's gonna have to. I'm working on it. Alan had a good idea. Lisa's gonna put me on a leash. Which, funny enough, you do see in New York from time to time, probably for different reasons. Mick Jones says, have you ever been to Vancouver? I've been to Canada. I've not been to Vancouver, although my dad visited Vancouver a couple of times and really raved about it, so definitely on the list. Why don't we, should we go through that way, or do you want to?
I think if we're
We're gonna do the shortcut, not
probably just keep going if we
Sorry,
want to.
folks, we're doing the shortcut, not the scenic tour.
If we want to get further south,
Yeah.
probably just keep going.
Okay. So there's playgrounds down here. I mean, these piers are awesome. There's just so much to do.
Like a little rock climbing wall.
Yeah, they have a little, I mean, so we'll be here one day with Mini Bagel. Alan says, when you get stopped for speeding, you'll know why. Prince Ice says the arm would suffer, so I'm looking forward to the stroller and the camera clamp attachment. So I will just have to push the stroller and you guys will have an even smoother view. Just rolling along. So we're gonna try to not hit any of these runners. Traffic jam down here. Look how much the boats are rocking.
It's the wind.
Yeah. Look at this one, Amanda. It's really rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
So we're entering Battery Park City. You know, which a ton of development took place after the terrible September 11 attacks, but this area they built up and it's got these amazing parks, amazing views as you can see. And then what's the shopping center called?
Brookfield?
Yeah, Brookfield Place. You know, again, I don't do any shopping there because it's a little bougie for my taste, but, oh, it's Ananda, not Amanda. But there's great restaurants over there. El Vez for Mexican, which is pretty good. There's a Parm, which we love. There's a Blue Smoke if you want barbecue. You know, there's lots of stuff over there. And I come sometimes for lunch. They have this food hall, and you can grab something relatively affordably and sit over staring at the water. So we're going to turn right, hug the water, and I'll give you some views of the Battery Park waterfront, which is beautiful.
Alan, that is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, no kidding. Go walk 10 miles. Okay. See, the cool thing about New York City is because of the oppressive traffic, the buses go the same speed I walk at. So we'll walk. Lisa will take the bus. We'll meet somewhere halfway. Okay, so again, a reminder, it's super windy today. And as we get closer and closer to the water, like down here, it just gets really windy. So sorry for the noise, but the views are worth it. And I'll be honest, it feels really good for me and Lisa.
Yes. I think these walks will get shorter and shorter as we move deeper into summer and also deeper into the pregnancy.
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about that. So some stuff we might do in the future is we may, maybe we'll walk somewhere and we'll bring like a picnic or something and we'll eat. And as long as you guys don't find that too obnoxious, we'll find a way to continue the Sunday tradition as best we can, although it may evolve. It may have to evolve.
Yeah, Prince Ice. I'm still wrapping my head around it myself, and we're already...
Oh yeah, we're not ready. I mean, come on. It's completely overwhelming.
No turning back now, but still...
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, it is what it is. It's happening. Don't get me wrong. We're not mentally or prepared for that. All right, so you get a peek as we come down here, but all of the parks have great public art. Yeah, it's so pretty. I love it down here. So if you're familiar with New York, there's we had Hurricane Sandy and obviously it led to a lot of flooding down in this area. So on the east side, there's something called the East River Park. Why don't we go in here just so we can take a picture of that. So East River Park was this beautiful park, old trees, bandshell, all this stuff. And they had to close the park recently because they have to raise the park physically because of the flooding. And that led to a ton of controversy. Like I said, New Yorkers love to complain. And you lose your park for a few years. I'd complain. I'd complain too. But the reality is, it had to be raised.
Had to be done. Yep.
It had to be done to protect not just the park, but the housing and the people. And the reason I bring this up is they're going to have to do the same thing here. And I don't know how disruptive it's going to be or not, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty disruptive. But again, they have to do it to protect the people in the city and the infrastructure. So we're capturing it, and part of what we like to do with the channel is capture these things as the city evolves and changes. And we can enjoy it, and we have a record of it, which hopefully people will find interesting over time. Mick Jones says, "Congratulations on your pregnancy." Thank you,
Thank
Mick.
you.
Really appreciate that. Alan says, "Milk bottle for baby, water bottle for dad." No kidding. Prince Ice says, "I think the picnic is a great idea." Yeah, we'll try different things and we'll see what works and what you guys like. I'm sure we'll figure something out that accommodates everybody appropriately. I sent a tweet to Lisa yesterday because if you guys remember, I don't know, however many, and we had so many network challenges that day, but Governor's Island.
That was our Memorial Day weekend video.
That was a lot of fun. But one of the things we saw on Governor's Island was this kids
junkyard.
It was literally a junkyard for kids, and it's exactly what I mean. You have to sign a waiver to go in because it's literally filled with sharp objects and garbage and all sorts of stuff. But this guy took his kids there, 2 daughters, I think, and took pictures, and they had such a good time. But he was like, "I had to sign a waiver."
I don't know where my kid is.
It was so funny, but I probably shouldn't be putting this stuff on video, the style of parenting.
That builds character, as you say.
You can't live without any danger. It was so funny, and I thought it was the funniest thing that we saw that, and then this guy found it a week later.
And thought, sure, kids, have fun.
Have at it. Gregory Kelly says, stock up on the baby formula. And we're keeping an eye on that stuff. Oh my God. Donna?
Donna, thank you.
Let's see. Something for the new edition. Well, Donna,
Thank you so
too kind,
much.
Too kind as always. We're so grateful. Always above and beyond. Thank you so much for the donation. The little one will appreciate it. Little mini bagel.
I have to tell you, I don't know if we've mentioned before Sean's style, but he wears suspenders all the time. Like right now, he's wearing suspenders under his athletic zip-up jacket thing. And so my friend sent me a onesie with little suspenders painted on it and a bow tie. So I'm very much looking forward to. They're like sun.
For any of the gentlemen watching, it allows you to wear your pants very
Here we go.
comfortably. Highly recommend it before you knock it.
I'm not knocking it, I'm just stating the fact that you're wearing suspenders right now.
Alan Brett says, best thing about being a dad is you can play with the latest toys. You'll have an excuse. Alan, whenever we see kids playing with stuff, or we're at a store and they have kids' toys, it's like shocking what they have access to now in terms of technology.
I'm looking forward to being able to go down the slides with the kid, because I want to do that now myself, but I'd just be a creepy random adult. But with a child now, I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I know. I often have to tell Lisa to. I'm just kidding.
No, I really want. When we grew up, we were outside running around.
So the picnic blankets are out, the sunbathers are out, the kids are playing. We've definitely talked about this before, but the city has a great ferry system, $2.75 a ride, and they recently added a stop that goes on the west side. Great addition, because Brooklyn, Queens, Rockaway. So they added the west side of Manhattan, and sometime this year is supposedly going to be a Coney Island ferry, which I can't wait for. I really can't wait for. Here it's coming in, so why don't we watch the ferry come in? Alan Brett says, Donna, you have a heart of gold. We couldn't.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Couldn't agree more. So this is the New York City ferry, $2.75 a ride. It's pegged to the price of a subway ride. You can't use your Metro card, but it's the same price. And I gotta tell you, for $5, Lisa and I will get a couple tickets for the ferry. And they sell beer, and obviously she can't have the beer right now, but
Sean enjoys himself.
we get her a non-alcoholic root beer.
No, he gets me a water.
And so for like $20, if you go to the Rockaway Beach, for example, which is a nice long ferry ride, you get these spectacular views, have a beer, you sit on top, get some sun. That is one of the best $20 you could spend in New York City. Really recommend that. So I don't know if you could see, behind the ferry is Ellis Island.
Everybody look at Grandpa.
We'll get some views of it once we get past the ferry terminal. So we're down here, this is Nelson Rock City. This is just a spectacular part of the Manhattan waterfront. Prince I says, dads nowadays say, our son, quote, wants the latest PlayStation, the hidden truth, question. Often pause over. This is a memorial to the Irish famine. Bet you had no idea. Oh, I guess our connection slowed down a bit, but we'll keep moving in a second. But this is the, hopefully you'll get this, but this is the Irish famine memorial. It's a beautiful memorial. It's a small little memorial by Brookfield Place. Very moving. And right here, it's a gorgeous fountain.
Some ducks in
And
there.
there's some ducks and geese. You can see there's ducks, there's geese, there's all sorts of stuff happening. There's wildlife everywhere. The city is so beautiful right now. We're gonna keep moving and hopefully we'll get the connection back up, so bear with me. Jessica McGill is here. Hope to visit someday. Hope you make it. And I hope our channel is in sightseeing. Thank you for being here, Jessica. All right, so hopefully the connection is coming back because we have some great views up ahead. Let's get in the sun to warm up a minute. In the shade, it's actually pretty cool.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Feels pretty nice.
Alan says you'll have the perfect excuse to play on the swings and roundabouts. I'm sure your fans will pay the fines you get for playing on the kids' rides. We appreciate it greatly. So check this out. We've got Ellis Island, and we got the Statue of Liberty, the real statue this time.
Oh,
we
yes.
saw the,
It was hard to tell.
we saw second place earlier. Funny face second place. One thing I didn't mention about the ferry is they're all named. So this one's Cyclone Shark, but there's one that's called like Pencil Bag. There's all these funny, there's some that have really funny names. So definitely pay attention to those ferries when you see them. All right, we're gonna pause up ahead, take a look at the Statue of Liberty. And it looks like the connection is much better now, so hopefully you're seeing us again. Isn't that beautiful? Ellis Island. Clock tower. Let me see if I can get this just right. Got the clock tower. It's just beautiful down here, isn't it? Let me see if I can get this. Beautiful. All right, so let's keep going. So we've now officially made it to Brookfield Place, the fancy mall down here. Like I said, lots of good places to eat. Familiar with New York. There's a PJ Clark's down here, which is very famous. Bar and restaurant. So they have an outpost here. They also added one near Lincoln Center. Yeah, we've had brunch here a couple times.
You have a beautiful view of the Statue of Liberty while you're eating. It's not too bad.
We'll keep moving. Hopefully the connection will improve. So this is Brookfield Place. This restaurant, PJ Clark's. Fun for brunch on the weekend. You can also come, have drinks in the afternoon or dinner. And this is your view. Brett says, I've enjoyed this live stream. It's been wonderful. Apologies for my sense of humor. We love it.
No need to apologize at all.
So I just saw a picture of this. So this is a movie screen, and I think it's the Tribeca Film Festival holds events here.
The sign back there said Tribeca Film Festival.
Oh, cool. So I saw pictures, and they put up seating, and you can see some of the like deck chairs here. And so they do these outdoor movies down here. The city, there's outdoor movies and events, concerts, etc., all over the city. So if Bryant Park has movies. We went to the Bryant Park has movies. We went to the Philharmonic again. The parks wouldn't get very busy, so oftentimes you have to go early, or you might have to register, etc. But those are fun. Washington Square Park does a movie series as well. Not as comfortable because all the seating is concrete, but so this is there's like no signage down here for some reason, but this is called Pump House Park, and it's funny. The name is quite literal. They, it looks like there's a little sign, tiny little sign, hidden behind the tree. But Pump House Park, so the name is literal. This area, the water that we're looking at, is used to cool the World Trade Center complex. So underneath us are pumps sucking in cold water and turning that into like air conditioning and stuff, and chillers for the World Trade Center. So this is Pump House Park. And we came the other day, and it had the most spectacular tulips.
This was
you remember
several
that?
Weeks ago, but yes, it
Wasn't
was
that beautiful? So obviously the flower seasons seem to be so short-lived, so they're different now, but I wish look up on Google Pump House Park. Pump House is one word. Tulips, and you'll see it was like Holland. It was so beautiful.
It was memorable. There was so much.
Alan says, you must be in a blind spot, keeps freezing. So we're going to try to keep moving. It looks on my end like it's coming back already, but apologies. Streaming in New York. So check out that sailboat. That's like a serious one. What's funny is it's so windy, but they're not using the sail. They're using electric power, obviously.
Maybe you don't do that
Or
until you're
gas
out on the water.
I guess, yeah. Just funny. Today's the day to be on a sailboat, isn't it? Windy day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to see, but there's some signs down here for the Billion Oyster Project. We saw some of those signs also on Governor's Island. So New York in this area used to
Look
be
at this, volleyball.
a big oyster producing area, and they're trying to bring it back, not just because local oysters might be interesting, but they clean the water. So there's all this environmental reasons to do it too, which is super cool. Yeah, you're right. So they have volleyball here, obviously a lot of boats. And it looks like we might have a marriage proposal. I'm guessing that said marry me.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cute. So that is the One World Trade Center. Gregory asks, and Alan, please, if you know, tell us in the chat. Gregory asks, notice there aren't many live streamers in Europe. Is it because of signal issues? From my end, I think it has more to do with privacy than it necessarily does with signal, but Alan, please correct me if I'm mistaken. But I know in some countries in Europe, for example, like I've heard you're really not supposed to do these sorts of videos like in Germany, because you have to actually get everybody's permission if, you know, if their face appears in your video. In the US, you can film as long as you're outside. So I don't know if it's legal, cultural, or technological, but I think it's more legal. But if I'm mistaken, let me know. Alan? Alan says it is to be expected with all skyscrapers around it. Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, we have seen some streamers have a little more success. So like I said, you know, we're gonna play around with our setup. Today, I would say for us, has been a successful stream. So even though there's been some hiccups.
Compared to lately. Whew.
Yeah, and I think it had to do with my plan rolled over yesterday, and so I probably have high priority data right now. And I'm gonna do my best to limit my extracurricular data usage so that we have as much for the stream as we can. It's quote unquote unlimited, but in the American sense of 3 pages of fine print that says it's not very good. So just so you folks know, we're coming to the end of our stream. We're at about 2.5 miles. We're going to get to 3. So we'll see, you know.
Well, we're at 2.5 miles because I didn't start my watch. We're
Probably
more
a
than
little more
two,
than
2.5 miles for sure. But
that's a fair point. So we're going to get to 3 on Lisa's watch, and then we're going to call it quits so that she and Mini Bagel can have a rest.
And some lunch.
And some lunch. So as we do that, I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. We had a lot of familiar faces. We had a lot of new faces. We're deeply, deeply happy to share our news with you guys. And for every good wish and the congratulations, we are immensely grateful.
Yes.
This is a joy to do these walks and explore New York City and to share it with you.
And we look forward to experimenting on what these will become as
time marches along, yeah, and as the family unit evolves. If you're new to the channel, free to subscribe, free to leave a like. Helps tell YouTube that you find this sort of content interesting. And hey, if you don't like it, leave a dislike. Doesn't really bother me.
No, I don't like that. I don't.
Lisa doesn't like it, but it still tells it still tells YouTube you're engaging with my content.
I feel like if you don't like it, just don't watch it. You don't have to actively push dislike.
In any event, if you like New York City, I try to share a little piece of it every single day, as often as I can. Usually walks, a lot of Central Park. One of the ones I'm going to do soon is Fifth Avenue. It's been a minute since I did Fifth Avenue.
I keep telling him he needs to get to the west side more and do places he doesn't go as often. But
yeah, I'm going to do Riverside again soon, but like Riverside Drive, Riverside Park North, not this part of the river, since we're doing this now. Want to do more meatpacking and Westfield, you know, like we'll get lots of different neighborhoods and stuff. So if you're interested in New York, you like walks, subscribe, leave a like.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Today's
Hit
been
that
a lot of
like
fun.
button.
Today's been a ton of fun. God, it's so beautiful down here. I really, you know, it's hard to overstate. It's just stunning. And today is such a beautiful day.
I'm really enjoying the weather today.
Alan says, Sean's school report needs to slow down. Patrick, thank you, Bagels and Walks. Gregory, many thanks on the walk and talk, and congrats on the baby. Patrick, hit that like button. Lisa likes that. So, every like adds a piece of joy to Lisa's day. And it's free to do.
And I give them to Sean too, because most of his walks I'm not actually a part of, but I try to watch and like as well.
As always, welcome your feedback. Welcome suggestions for places you want to see us visit. So feel free to comment and let me know. And I can't make every promise, but I always keep them in mind, certainly. So if there's something you want to see, let me know. Let's get to that part of the park right there, and that's where we'll say goodbye.
Okay.
Because it's beautiful over there. Like I said, this is all part of kind of the broader Battery Park City stretch of the Hudson River Greenway. And the parks down here are just especially beautiful. Gregory, from being on prior videos, has seen some of the parts of this waterfront further north, and they're beautiful in their own way, but down here, as we come through this set of trees, you'll see, it's just so...
I just like everything along this west side.
Just look at this.
It's so well done.
It's so beautiful. Alan says you have a bright future. Well, thank you. Hopefully a big and happy family to join these walks. And we're grateful for all of your support. Just being here is fun and part of the joy of doing this. Check out these views. So we're going to get over to those benches up ahead, right there. There's flowers, there's trees, there's kind of an observation terrace up there up the stairs. There's the remnants of some of the old piers. There's probably oysters beneath us. Ellis Island and Statue of Liberty in the distance. Yeah, Patrick, when we get to the corner,
I think we have to just loop around and we'll be able to see it again.
Yeah, so we'll get to the other side of this and we'll end on the Statue of Liberty. That's what we'll do. If Lisa's okay with that, I'm okay with that. So we'll get through to the other side and you guys get to see this amazing park. I think, living down here can have its challenges because it's, for example, at night, there's not as many restaurants and stuff, as compared to the Upper West Side or something where there's, 10,000 restaurants in your neighborhood.
Here's a good shot of this little.
Yeah. But what you get instead, these public spaces are awesome. Really cool. So we can curve around this. And the views down here really can't be beat. So we're going to get to the other side of this park and we'll see Lady Liberty. Those noises you hear, there's been lots of helicopters above us.
Oh yeah, there's good sculptures over here too.
Yeah, one of them is, so the Holocaust Museum is down here, which is, as one would imagine, very difficult, but I really recommend it. And then in addition, there's sculptures. This has to do with a Catholic, a nun. I have to learn more about it though. Mary Frances Cabrini, there's a Cabrini Boulevard in Upper Manhattan, so I'm sure they must be related. I'll have to read more about Cabrini. What's the Verrazano Bridge, Staten Island Ferry. When I zoom in, the quality goes down a little bit, but that's the Staten Island Ferry, and that's the Verrazano Bridge. And then, bear with me a second, we're gonna, whoop. Using the joystick now. Check that out. So again, big thanks to everybody for being here. We'd love to spend this time with you. Have a great weekend. Remember, Juneteenth, Father's Day, and Pride Month. So please enjoy all of them. Enjoy your weekend. We had a great time with you today.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, and oh, look at that interesting book.
Wow.
We're just noticing all the wildlife around us. Thank you, Prince Ice. Thank you, everybody.
Patrick, Prince Ice, Donna, John,
Gregory, Alan.
Patrick, Gregory,
Jessica was here.
Alan, Lottie, Jessica, Mick. Maggie was here. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I apologize. We love every one of you. Thank you for spending this time with us, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.